Hello, beautifuls. How are you today? And you haven't seen me doing readings for a while because there's so many people doing readings. And, I'd just rather sit back and talk and let the readings flow, if they need to. But there's been a lot going on lately. Um, still trying to get past energy out of the way so I can continue on my happy married path of creation. Uh, and trying to keep my ability to make my products, and I really need to get some investors, um, because quite honestly YouTube and Facebook and everybody isn't letting me have the reach that I need to be able to actually make money. And some evil person got me kicked off of TikTok lives for telling the truth. Of course TikTok lets them, like all social media does. If you tell the truth and you expose them, they don't like it very much. Imagine that. So, what they're actually doing is letting me come on, and a lot of people are listening, and then I'm seeing a lot of people like parroting what I'm saying, and they're actually the ones making money on the gifts that I bring instead of them allowing me, because I refuse to pay um TikTok and YouTube and Google and Facebook for my gifts, because I really don't need to boost anything because people are drawn to me naturally. So, and they don't like that. As a matter of fact, people like me scare them because they know I don't need them, and if they turn me loose, that people are going to come. So they keep me locked down, and people aren't doing the share, subscribe, like thing like I need them to be able to support myself. And this is the way social media works. Oh, you weren't going to pay me? Well, fuck you. We're going to give, take, and let everybody watch you, and then let them take and make money off of what you bring. So, but I'm going to bring it anyway. Fuck them all, because the overall picture is what's good for the world and not just Facebook, and market the old school way. It's not really about marketing. That's the thing, It's about what's good for everyone, and if everyone isn't involved in what's good for everyone, then I'm kind of fucked anyway. When I went on Facebook, I had lots of supporters and I had lots of abilities, but see, Facebook does what they call shadow banning. Like, I can share a million posts and nobody sees them. Like, I had a pinned post of all my products on my personal page and nobody saw it. Facebook wouldn't let it be seen because I didn't pay them. And when I did pay them to boost my post, they boosted it in like Iran, Iraq, Turkey, all these places that like little blonde girls, and you know what they do to how they think of American women. Try something new. Well, what's new? I'm open to ideas. I'm not gonna invade people's energy and go do what other people are doing and saying, I'm drawn to you. What kind of reading do you want? Because that's equivalent to energetic rape. If somebody doesn't come to me and ask me for a reading, that's me sticking my nose where it doesn't belong without permission. And I can't do that either. But because I do play by the universal energetic rules, the people who don't are the ones that are being promoted. The people that don't are the ones that get to profit off of other people's wisdom and knowledge. And, Spirit sees it all. And I have to have faith that sooner or later the right people are going to find me. And you guys have been key and instrumental in everything. But the like, shares, subscribes are key because that actually overrides their algorithm. And I cannot, I mean, I will go and watch 2 minutes of somebody's, like people I follow, like the captain, spiritual gangster, Joey, so many others, Estrella. You know, it's, a lot of times these readings are long, but I will make sure I go and find every one of theirs and put a like on it because I'm supporting those feeds. Hang on a minute. For some reason, my chat box isn't up here. It isn't coming up on my feed. I'm not liking that. Not sure why. It's more electronic fuckery, really. Yep, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Because I gotta come up with about $300 now because it's crunch time because of all this. To be able to keep the stuff that's in storage. What I really need is investors. You know, people who knows the products and knows what I bring to the table and what my products are about. Because I got thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars worth of things to make my products, but no ability to get them at the moment because I'm in a different state. So I just got to keep a hold of them long enough to where I can make what I need to make, which means I'm going to have to go do computer work, whatever, you know, the 9 to 5 bullshit that I'm not made for, that actually kills me, kills my spirit, kills my gifts, which is exactly what these evil people want. So, but you know, I'm still saying there's going to be a huge shift in consciousness next month and into September, where people are really going to wake up. It doesn't matter if I bring it or if somebody else brings it, really, as long as it gets done. So either way, we win in the end. But in the meantime, I just got to keep sharing. And one of the things I talked about today, and I was talking to my friend Angela online, because she's been around me for like 15 years now. Yeah, creating. And all the stuff that I need to create is in that storage room. Because I had to take a train and I couldn't carry it all the way. I carried 100 pounds as it was, to 3 states basically. And here, this is what I got for it. Can you see the blood blisters on the bottom of my feet? But that's all I could carry. Yeah. I did healthcare. I was a CNA many years ago, and I worked in a nursing home. And I actually loved working with the residents, and they loved me. They actually put me in the locked ward because of my bedside manner. I kept those people calm. A lot of people got abused in that ward, and I didn't have a problem with any of the residents. Plus, they noticed I could talk people like that were in full epileptic seizure. I could sit down and talk to them and stroke their hand, and they'd come out of it quicker than if I wasn't there. So, I'm a healer, and all my healing things are in that storage room. Everything that I need is in that storage room. Yeah. But, the health markets right now, you have to go and take that shot, and no, ain't doing it. Yep. You have to go and take that shot that's killing people, literally. I mean, I saw what happened during COVID. Many people died out of misinformation and disinformation from what the social medias kept down because they all have stock in the medical industry. It's crazy. And I've seen millions of people die because of what they are doing for control. Yes, the COVID shot ain't done it. So there's a lot of things stopping me from doing that. Me personally, I would rather go out and get a job, but since my ex stole my truck and tried to stop me every way he could, so he could steal, he stole my garden, he stole my truck, he stole all my work, which put me into having to go to Dawn's, which she tried to do the same thing. Y'all know that story, you were there. Um, she did everything she could, even lying to the courts, to try to separate me from my assets so she could steal them and use what I worked for years um, to benefit her. So, you know, yeah, lots of people got fired, and that shot is killing a lot of people. And that's the problem I have with it. And they actually had three lots out, and two of them, a lot of people aren't having problems with, but one of them, most people are having problems with. And that was through all carriers. They put three separate lots out. Basically, what they did was they made the world a petri dish. They experimented on everybody for this new RNA, but me being psychic, I saw what was going on, and I didn't fall for any of it. I knew COVID was lab created. I knew all of that. And that's another reason why I'm so heavily shadow banned, because I called it. Yeah. Well, it's deadly. What they're doing is deadly. And that, there's just so much coming out from it. And there was a lot of scientists, a lot of well-known, well-documented scientists that they were calling fringe scientists, and they were putting people in that I've never heard of, because I like keep up on medical breakthroughs and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And one of the things that really busted my ass on this whole COVID thing is they started giving it to pregnant women and children. And that is the number one rule in medicine, that you never experiment, do anything experimental on pregnant women and children. And they're breaking all the rules. And we're letting them, because we're letting them keep the truth tellers down. And we're following these people that are paying Google and Facebook and all that so that they can take our work. And, well, they didn't die from COVID, because the truth about COVID is it was only had a 0.3% mortality rate. What they died from was the fuck ups of being put on the ventilator, being put together. A lot of them had pre-existing conditions that made them more susceptible to being sicker, and they were not careful. And that was all planned too, to push that COVID shot. I had COVID, and actually, before it came out that it was COVID, and I got Z-Packs. My doctor gave me Z-Packs, and it took care of it. So the truth of it is, it's a little worse than the flu. But if you treat the flu in wrong places, and they were hiding the hydrochlorocodone, which also helped the symptoms of COVID. I actually put up a natural recipe for hydrochlorocodone, and Facebook banned it, saying it was false information, which it was not. Um, so they could push that shot. And it's not touchy to me. It's just I seen it. It was obvious to me. Some people got lucky and they got the shots that didn't do a lot, and or their body was able to intervene, but also what they did was they changed your DNA in the process. And they said, no, it's not changing your DNA. Well, guess what? I saw Dr. John get red pilled. I saw Dr. Bean get red pilled. They were all following the medicine, and then all of a sudden, because they were like, I'm not going to listen to these conspiracies, and now they're singing a different tune. Yes, it did. And that was the whole point of it. That's the whole point of it. But I'm going to trust my intuition 100% of the time, because that's what Spirit gave me it for, you know. And whether people listen or they don't, that's on them. All I can do is tell the truth. But social media does not like the truth because they make money off of the difficulties or the ones who play the game, you know. And I don't play. Why? This is life and death. It's not something that you play with. I mean, Sucky Zucky was up before Congress. Congress is playing games because nothing's happened to Sucky Zucky over killing hundreds of teenagers because of their algorithms. And you know how teenagers they have to have approval. And literally, kids were committing suicides because they were playing with their numbers and doing the shadow banning and not letting those teens be emotionally fulfilled. So, the truth is that people need to really get off of social media more and get involved in life. Because what we need is strong communities. And we aren't going to do it on the web. What we're going to need is clean food. And we aren't going to be able to accomplish it if we're all shoved in little, apartments. And as long as people are allowed to be liars and thieves and keep the good people down, we aren't going to be able to accomplish anything. And that's why the good people need to stand up and stand behind each other. Unapologetically. Call a spade a spade. Hello, Daniel. How are you? Now, what I was talking to Angie about was she's finally figuring out the reason she's here. And I told her, I said, the reason that you're here is because you have this thing inside you called atomic memory. And Natalie, you probably heard me talk about this before. The first rule of energy is once it's created, it can never be uncreated. It only changes. So that means that every bit of energy that is, was, and will ever be has already been. All right? So this is something that's forever going on. It's eternal, right? So here's the thing. Each one of the atoms that create the basis of energy has an atomic memory, or what they call quantum entanglement. All right? And you have trillions, billion, whatever. It's undisclosed amount of atoms in your body that are all universal, and they're full of universal knowledge. Now, because of our physical, we think that we can only do so much, which is not true. That, we're this ball of consciousness floating around in the universe, and we're floating through the universe, picking up, all this wisdom as we go along. But the truth is that we are a ball of consciousness, but the entire universe flows through us. All right? So all that knowledge we have within us, all that intuition, there's no limits. The only reason we think there's limits is because we agreed to come and be this physical form for some kind of balance in the universe. All right? So basically, yes, you're that important. And you decided to come do this to bring that balance in a physical form. But then when we get in a physical form, it's so heavy and burdened, and we get programmed by all the other physical things around us that we forget about how much of the universe flows through us, how much of its knowledge, how much of its intuition. And we don't trust it because of all these assholes, I guess you can call it, that try to stop us from living to our full potential. Well, I wouldn't say everybody is created equal in the eyes of spirit, okay? We're all given the map. We're all given the map. We're all given the same tools, but very few of us get out of our own way of control and desire to be able to use it effectively, okay? We want to control it, so we don't understand how to use the legend. We don't understand how to use the tools we've been given. We think we know through our ego, but, you know, any physical knowledge is finite, and eternal knowledge is not. And the best way to understand is to understand that we aren't going to know everything at any given time, but if we allow ourselves, we'll know what we need to know when we need to know it. True story. It's like, I'm not going to jump in and jump on everybody's energy and read your mind, read your energy, because there's certain rules to the physical, and that is an equivalent to energetic rape. If I have to ask you, may I come to you? Or you have to show up and come to me. If you come to me and ask me for a reading, that's one thing. But me going into your inbox and saying, I was drawn to you. It's like this, bitch. I didn't give you permission to be drawn anywhere. And if I want a reading, I'll go to who I'm drawn to and ask them for it. You have no right coming to me and asking me because you're drawn to my energy. And even if you are drawn to my energy, you can't read me without my permission. That's an energetic no-no. And that's one of the problems I have with all the psychic things going on right now. There's a lot of people out there more interested in making money off your pain than off your growth. And quite honestly, I'm here more interested in helping people grow and being engaged in life than I am in filling my pockets because people are needing guidance. My gifts were given to me by spirit for free. I would rather make my products and be the creator and make money that way. Yeah, but to invade it because uh, we all have the ability to be able to look at somebody and invade their energy and read them. But we're not supposed to without their permission. And that's just the truth of it. That's like bashing somebody's door down and stealing stuff from their home. Think about it. You can be drawn to somebody's energy, and that's what I mean. I make myself public, and I'm out there doing what I do. And if you're drawn to me and you want me to read you, that gives me the permission to do that. But I'm not just going to sit on Facebook and pick out people and go to their inbox trying to draw them to me. All right? If they're drawn naturally to me, there's a reason for that. But, I mean, I'm drawn to a lot of people, so I love everybody. And that's the truth. I may not like what they do to each other. I may not like, but we all have the same potential of greatness within us. None of us are better than the other until we choose to not be, or we choose to be. And that's one of my main messages. How come my chat box isn't coming up? Hang on a minute. See, they're hiding that so people can't see it. Uh, and it's really ticking me off. They're all messing with the, This is why I call them digital Diablos, honestly. Is because they're so controlling. There's always something awesome with people's energy. But there's a lot of energies out there that are just trying to vampirize your energy. And I don't go for that at all. And take advantage of you. You know, if people want to support the good people, um, then they will. And if not, you know, I told Preston, I said, look, if I lose everything, I'm done. I'll just sit behind a computer and spend the rest of my life dying. And I'm fine with that because if that's the case, then the sooner I leave this world, the happier I'm going to be. Because, you know, I get tired of this. I get really, really tired of it. Yes, outdoor markets are great. Good food is great. And, you know, I worked a long time. I worked for 3 years to have my herbs and have my things for teas and create a garden and a beautiful future. And my ex-business partner and his ego decided to steal it all and kick me out of it. Same way Dawn tried to do. And then I get to Wisconsin, and that woman, you know, now my corporate paperwork is missing, and all these thieves run around want to call you a thief. And it's like, I've never stolen anything in my life. Everything that I've done, I've worked for. And they try to keep you from doing the things that you are here to do. But they'll steal your ideas, they'll steal your abilities, they'll try to become you. But they aren't you, so they can't carry it off. So in a way, me doing this like I'm doing it, um, maybe it is a sign to do something else. But maybe that's a sign that the world isn't where it needs to be, and a lot of the people with this knowledge are going to be exiting to leave it to the people who don't deserve them anyway. And that's fine with me too, you know? But I'm not going to keep um, the things that I understand under my belt just because other people want to take advantage of it. Eventually, they're going to get their karma, even if it's the world going to shit in a handbasket. And it's because, but we're in co creation, all right? It's not about giving those people a platform. Everything that you do affects me too. Everything you don't do affects me too. We're all in this together. People don't get that. Even people that I don't know affects the whole. We're not separate. So every time I raise or somebody else raises, even if somebody else steals it and brings it, eventually they're going to get their ass kicked because that wasn't their knowledge to share. They're sitting watching and trying to become something they're not. That they don't have the ability to carry on. And the only reason they have the ability to carry on is because I'm sitting here telling them. But, you know, pretty soon they're even going to take me away. And then they're not going to be able to carry it. And then everything gets slammed shut. And we let them because we don't pay attention to what's going on truly in the world and how these computers works and the algorithms and the controllers, you know. People don't care. All they care about is what they get out of it. That's it. Not about the people bringing it. Not about the truth and the heart and the soul that the original creators put into it. Um, And a lot of what they call chosen ones, which you guys know I hate that term, because it isn't really about, oh, you're special, you're special, you're special. It's about choosing a certain lifestyle or a certain path, reaching for certain understandings, that other people don't take the time to do the soul searching or do the studying of the quantum physics or of the other realms. Well, then that's one of the reasons why you may have everything you think you want until the time comes when everything gets taken away by those who control, because you're not paying attention to what's going on as a whole. And see, that's one of the biggest problems. That's one of the biggest problems. If you don't know what's going on in the world, then how is it that we're going to balance it? And that's what a lot of people do. Me, 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 me. And that's it. Because unless you understand that we're all in this together, um, and what you do and what you don't do affects everyone as a whole, because on a grand scale, the more people that are doing that are only concerned with this, when Trudeau comes in and takes everything that you own or takes away your freedoms or takes away this and that, it's basically your fault. You just keep you balanced. And okay. But how much are you going to be able to keep you balanced when the whole world is blowing up around you? You know, you may be able to do that right now, but, if you don't pay attention to what's going on in the world, when the world comes knocking at your door, how are you going to keep it out? If we don't take accountability for what we bring into the world beyond us, then we're really not changing anything in the world. Doesn't matter if you voted for him or not. You're still sitting down and not. And whether you voted for him or not, he was still in office, right? When you could have said, "Hey, look at this douchebag. look what his agenda is. Look what he's been doing." I mean, you have the ability to influence other people, and you do. Even if you are in your little box and decide not to influence, that's an influence in itself, to not take part. And that's your way of saying, okay, yeah, well, one of these days they're going to come at your door in a way where you aren't going to be able to just close them out. The wolves, that's the thing, when Hitler came knocking at their door, they thought the same thing. Oh, I'm chosen. I may be chosen, but, I'm not going to be able to stop the wolves by myself. So if I croak, hey, it's just as much everybody else's fault as it is mine. Although I'm standing up and saying my piece, the world is trying to keep it down. But, I know I'm not that chosen and not that we aren't all connected, and that I am just as responsible for everything that's going on in the world as everybody else is. And if we don't take that accountability, then we have porn in schools. We have children being sexualized. We have, um, what is that? The drag queen story hour, What kind of influence is that for small minds, which keep in mind, I have no problem with drag queens, especially with adults. They made their choice. Whatever makes them happy. But I think children's innocence is a key role in the progress of our future. And kids don't think about what's 3 feet in front of them. They don't think about anything. They take things as it rolls. Yes, it has. It's been happening for a millennia. This control has been happening, and I've talked about that too. So when's it going to end? I mean, we're all not okay with what's going on. Nobody wants their daughters or sons being, SA'd or even unalived. But it happens everywhere. And we sit down and do nothing until it affects us. And then when it affects us, that's when we start taking part. Well, I don't wait. This has been going on forever because this is how we're programmed, and that's what I mean. Since we became humans, since our DNA was messed with over 200,000 years ago, I think it was, um, and we lost the ability to live until we don't chose not to be in the physical anymore. Like people were living for 10,000 years for fuck's sake, till they decided they didn't want to be physical anymore, and then boom, they procreated. Didn't take a man or a woman. That was the first separation of our consciousness, our first duality. Um, and that's when the first idea of separation happened and the need for control. Before that, we brought another energy into the world before we left it, another volunteer. 10,000 years old. Okay, I'm tired. I'm tired of being physical. Time for me to go back to what? That light body, whatever you want to call it. Death wasn't a thing, it was a choice. Kind of like aging. That all changed with the onset of what they call the fallen angels, which they weren't fallen angels, they were actually aliens. And you could read about it in Gilgamesh and about the Sumerians and all that. I mean, it's all right there. Part of history that they hid from us, which the people who are in charge, they've known about it forever. And we're all basically slaves. And we have been for a millennia. So, and it's going to keep on going and keep on going. Now we're at the time where the controller is realizing that we have too many people and they could actually be overthrown. And that's why they're coming up with COVID and other things to try and keep the population down. That's why there was a flood. They've been in control of the weather forever, too. People don't get it. And we'll never break free of it because we're not congealing as humanity itself. We're all competing. We're not realizing how much power we actually have and how much knowledge and how much ability we have to change this world. And so we're not taking accountability for our energy, and we're not looking at our brothers and our sisters and what's going on over there saying, I can do something about this just by talking about it. So and emotions, they lied to us about our emotions. They lied to us about focus. They lied to us that everything is all a part of a whole. Even you. And what you do affects me, and what you don't do affects me. What you do affects somebody you don't even know on the other side of the world, and what you don't do affects somebody that you don't even know on the other side of the world. Not only that, it affects our futures. What happens to our children and our grandchildren depends on what we do and what we don't do. I mean, that's just the truth. And what we allow and what we don't allow. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow, because then if they understand that, they have to take accountability. And nobody wants to take accountability. Well, I take accountability for what's going on because I'm a part of it. I'm here. As long as we're here, we're a part of it. What we allow continues. And people don't understand that, the controllers, they have to tell us what they're doing before they do it. So they'll tell us in things like Hollywood movies. The movies that we watch, is kind of like a vote for that kind of future. They're desensitizing us as humanity through porn and all kinds of things. Like when you pull up and watch porn or on social media, you're looking at the scantily clad sexual things. That means it's more accepted in reality, so they're going to promote that because that's what people are watching, and this is how we get manipulated as society as a whole. Okay. Um, you are where you are because you've been allowed to be because you played the game. People who don't play the game, um, who are actually here to make the change, um, we may not get far. And then again, when it's too late and you've played the game, and then all of a sudden with the onset of Bitcoin and okay, you are accountable for you, but what you do affects everyone else. The whole game that they've made life into instead of what it's supposed to be. Playing the game, the 9 to 5. At first, humans weren't on 9 to 5. There wasn't even a such thing as time. They had no concept of it. They got up when the sun came up, and when the sun went down, that was time to go to bed. You know, that kind of thing. We worked in cycles of nature instead of the idea of time. Time is what I call a misery program because we're always worried about time is money, wasting it, doing this, doing that. And as long as we're in that mindset, we're not using it effectively. We're always worried about how to use it effectively, how to do this, how to do that. Well, time is a construct that does not occur in eternity. It is a man-made concept. True story. It's not an eternal consciousness. Because the truth about time is everything is happening at the same time in eternity. There is no past, present, and future. It's all one never-ending cycle. Fun stuff I'm playing with right now. And what they consider as the past, present, and future is just your energy on different planes of existence, all harmonizing at the same time. Your consciousness is fractal. But yeah, I am very much responsible for things going on in the world. So all the bad stuff that's going on, we either get involved in it and try and stop it, or we become a part of it. And we saw it with the farmers, how they controlled the money. A lot of people were supporting the farmers. A lot of people were supporting the truckers. But because it was digital, they were able to take control of that. Because those truckers and those farmers weren't playing the game that they wanted them to play. So they stopped the funding. Even though it wasn't theirs to control, they controlled it anyway. We let them. That's the game. And we keep moving into those things just to be able to egotistically own this and own that. And the truth is, we don't own anything. Anything that is physical is temporary. When you die, you ain't taking them with you. So once your mark is made here in reality, that's as far as it goes. All right? If that's the view, that's as far as it goes. Is 100 years from now, they're going to rewrite history like they have 100 times already. And it's not going to be viable. It won't matter what you have done here. But when you do something that raises everyone, because you take accountability for that eternity that we are, that's when you have a legacy that's eternal and not just physical. So focus is everything, and they want to keep you focused on the 3 Ps. Your pockets, your pussies, and your penises. The biggest game ever. Yep. And social media is one of the biggest control mechanisms there are of the human spirit. And we let them. Yeah, it's true. That's what I call the 3 Ps. If they keep you focused on the physical, then, what our eternal legacy and what we're here to bring, solely or, consciously. Well, it's not just what I make of it because I know what it is, but it's what everybody else in the world is doing with it. It's one of the reasons now we have porn in our. If we don't stand up and make a stand against it, then, when it happens to your family, your children, whatever, you can't really bitch about it. I can bitch about it because I bitch about it. That's what I mean. That's taking accountability. I know a lot of people that didn't see it coming because they weren't paying attention. And I've seen a lot of kids be physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, simply because we weren't paying attention, because we were focused on right here, right now. If it didn't affect us, we didn't care. Well, now it's affecting the world. Like I said, a lot of people supported the truckers and the farmers and the protesters. But because of these digital diablos, that support got cut off. And we allowed that to happen because we gave those people the power by not paying attention. we put them into power by either voting, not voting, whatever, or not seeing the manipulation behind the scenes. Like, I don't believe anybody voted Biden in as president. Well, a few people did, but I don't believe Biden was America's choice for president when he came in. And, social media, yeah, I know the feeling, because they're all the same, really. They're all the same. Um, they're all for something, and it isn't really the good of the health of you who pays the bills for them, literally. Um, and that's the kind of thing I mean. If we don't pay attention, this is what we get stuck with. So I pay attention. I pay attention to everything I can. And everybody's like, how do you know so much about this and that? Well, I pay attention. I study. I understand. Not necessarily that I know, because knowledge is fluid. Understanding is totally different from knowledge. Understanding is the ability to know that knowledge is fluid and it changes. It changes with the time. It changes with everything. So, well, if you don't want to know, like I said, when it comes knocking at your door, um, I don't think understanding the health system and what's going on in it and how, like, um, well, let's say it takes 600,000 years for a uh, genome to successfully um, develop enough to cross species. In other words, 600,000 years for one of these germs to go from animal to human. So all of these things like Lyme disease that we're now getting from animals, tsetse flu, whatever, that these animals are mad cow disease, hoof and mouth, all these things that are animal diseases that are now affecting humans, those were all created. True story. Just like we can't get anything from a bat unless it was messed with to be integrated into our human system, like COVID. And those interferon sites, the interferon cleavage sites, they aren't going to make that mistake next time. These are all telltale signs. So it's information that we all have the capability of understanding, but we don't take the time to do it because we're worried about the three P's. We're worried about that instant gratification. Our pockets, our sex lives, those things that make us happy right now. So we choose not to do the work. And a lot of people run around and they say, oh, I love myself. I love myself to do everything that makes me happy. Well, that's not self-love. That's selfish. As my captain said, my old guy that I share, he said, that's not self-love. That's selfish. There's a difference. So we have to understand, what part we're playing in society as a whole. And if we don't care, then when society as a whole comes crashing down, we have to understand that we were a part of that, allowing that to happen. Just like the Jews were a part of Hitler being able to do what he did. And ask the people that still have the tattoos on their arms how they feel about it now. Because they were the chosen people. Or so they thought. And it isn't about being chosen, that anybody is special. any more special than anyone else. Because that's not true. It's about choosing to be part of it. Or choosing to ignore it. Which is what the Jews did when Hitler came in and took them out. It's what the Himalayan monks win. Oh, we're so special, nothing's going to hurt us, God is going to protect us. Well, guess what? And when you're in the physical, you're also part of physical reality. So, that consciousness is everlasting, and you have to be conscious of the surroundings. Otherwise, you're going to get squashed. And that's exactly what happened to the monks in the Himalayas. They thought they were above all the everything. No, it's not about self-care. Okay? It's about the idea that self-love is I'm going to do whatever I want to do no matter how it affects anyone else. And they consider that self-love. When it's not self-love, it's selfish. Self-care is a different thing entirely. You should always take care of yourself because people depend on you. People love you. And when you take care of yourself, health-wise, not in selfish ways, but health-wise, you maintain um, your physical fitness, your health. That's self-care. And people who care about you and love you, that's what they want you to do. So that makes them happy when you do that. It's all, like I said, we're all interconnected. And we need to realize that. And that's what the world is missing right now. This is a co-creation. We're all involved. We're all responsible for everything that's going on. And people don't want to take responsibility for the bad stuff, but then they're not taking a part in stopping it either. So they are responsible. And they don't, want to see that. Yes, self-care is very, very important. But, choosing, like, people go out there and drink themselves to death. That's not self-care. But people consider that self-love because that's what they want to do. And it's not self-love either. It's self-destruction. And when you self-destruct, people that care about you get hurt from it. So, there's a lot of self things going on that we need to understand. And the idea is spiritual or otherwise, spiritual, physical, understanding our limitations physically. Right now, anyway, pretty soon, if we get spiritually, if we understand ourselves spiritually enough, that even the COVID shot won't mess with us. But I know I ain't there yet. Because I would worry if they put something in my arm, and as long as I have that worry, that means that I'm not there yet. But at some point, I may just go and do it anyway, and whatever fucking happens, happens, because I'm tired of living in a world where people misunderstand themselves and their relationship to others in a way to where they end up emotionally and spiritually harming others. Because being an empath, Natalie, you feel other people's pain. And that's why we shut ourselves off. And we can't do that. Even when you feel nothing, you should feel it entirely. And understand that too, there's a reason for that. Yeah. And you get what I'm talking about, I know you do. But even being, 3 feet in front of you, that's a protection mechanism. the protection mechanism comes usually from from a view that's 3 feet in front of you. Yeah, me too. I also know when I have to engage in life instead of spiritual. Like I said, the Himalayan monks, they got slaughtered. The Chinese came in and slaughtered them because they were so involved in the spiritual that they didn't even consider the physical. They thought they were beyond it. But as long as you're physical, you're not beyond the physical. Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with seclusion. You know, when your soul cries for it, your soul cries for it. But, my journey isn't to be secluded. Um, my understanding isn't just for me. That's what I mean. People who steal it and use it, that energy is going to come back on them, just like the energy of Hitler came back on him. Just like the energy of the Chinese is going to come back on them. Because we all see it now. We all know Chinese isn't good. We all know it. So, it exposes them in a way. Yep. So that's what I mean. We all affect each other, whether we see 3 foot in front of us and that's it or not. It still affects me because if we're in a world of people who are only seeing 3 foot in front of us when they drop the nuke on top of our head because we're not paying attention, I would really hate it if I heard that something happened to you, Natalie. It would affect me greatly, you know. So, and that's the reality of it that we have to understand is that what happens to you happens to me too, even if it's not physically happening to me. Hey, Aurora Angel. Well, it's going. It's going. Everything isn't perfect, but what's the idea of perfect? It is what it is. How are you? How have you been? What's been going on? Even the animals have an effect on us and how we feel about our animals. They're huge empaths and very innocent. And what happens to them is also on us. So, you know, um, yes. Well, there's a lot going on in the sky. Yep, yep. There's a lot going on everywhere. And really, it's hard for anybody to focus. And that's part of the programming too. Is there's so much going on that it's like, hi Liz, welcome, welcome. Ah, oh, since I mentioned something about our chat not showing, Liz has showed up, but I'm still not seeing our YouTubers. Huh. Maybe I should go back to streaming mostly on Facebook and then it'll come up. Well, evil also has its purpose. And here's the thing. Nature and the physical is about balance. Okay, so if we're here pushing the light, pushing the light, pushing the light, then we're naturally causing an imbalance, and evil will ramp up to try and answer that, to bring the balance. Yeah. Well, I pay attention to it, but I try not to let it affect me. And I've always said that everything is about the moment. You know, how do you feel in that moment? And that's what we should react to bring that balance. Because every magic is in this moment and none other, because the future isn't here yet, supposedly, even though it's already written and it's already actually happening in simultaneous. Da 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 da. There you go. And that's why I say, if we focus it all at one time, if we try to focus on it all at one time, um, we can't know everything. But if we're open to the knowledge flowing, then we'll know what we need to know when we need to know it. But we have to understand, what's going on, so we'll be able to be that balance. Like when I found out about the Satanists and the adrenochrome and what they were doing to children, I started meditating in ways that to expose that. And that was years ago, and now it's being exposed, and it's being exposed in big ways. Nature is a beautiful thing to focus on because it's naturally balanced. The only thing that messes that up is us and what we do and don't do. It just really hurts my heart to see somebody throwing like cigarette butts out in nature or trash or those forever chemicals or even the oil wells when Tesla knew about that energy is free, it's everywhere. We don't need to rape the earth. The oil is like its life, it's like our bloodstream. The crystals is like their teeth, and we need to relate to things in ways like Mother Earth is a living, breathing being, but we don't see it. We see her as something we can rape and own instead of working with her and the nature of her. And same thing with energy. Energy is everywhere, even in the empty spaces. Everybody thinks, oh, that three-quarters of everything is empty space, but it's not actually empty. It's actually full of the building blocks of what becomes the physical. I'm not talking about that Tesla. I'm talking about Nikolai Tesla, not not Elon Muskard. Yes, and we're also raping the earth for the minerals and stuff that it takes to make those batteries. But Nikolai Tesla, the scientist who was born on July 8th at midnight, by the way. My birthday is July 9th, way back in the 1800s, I think 18 something. Tesla was actually a scientist, and when Albert Einstein won the Nobel Peace Prize for the theory of relativity, the people asked him, the newspapers asked him, what's it feel to be the smartest man on earth? And he said, I don't know, maybe you should ask Mr. Tesla. And that's where the name Tesla came from, is Nikolai Tesla. Nikolai Tesla was the one that says, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, Nikolai Tesla went out and stuck a light bulb to the ground and it lit up because, well, no, that's why they shut Tesla up. That's why you don't know who I'm talking about, Natalie. He was freaking amazing. Go look him up, Nikolai Tesla. It'll blow you the fuck away, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm July 9th, actually. Yes, 369, exactly. Vortex math. It's like everything physical is every other number, but 369 is an ongoing thing. It has to do with what they call eternal math because everything that relates to 369 will always relate to 369 and 369 only. True story. So they consider that eternal or vortex math. Hi, B. How are you, my sweetheart? There's my girl. Yes, they shut him down because he was a truth teller. He knew shit. And because he knew shit, they shut him down. Hi, Deborah! Yes, exactly. There's my girl. Oh, girl, I miss you. You don't even know how much. Yes, 369. God maths. Eternal. How you doing, sweetheart? I told you you were going to kick the ass of that shit. I told you. You're too much of a fighter. Well, plus, this world needs you. Yeah, be you too. Awesome. Awesome. I tried talking to you on Facebook, but I guess your signal was in and out. Yeah. Well, I think about you every day and send you all the love and good energy I have because it's a hell of a fight, girl. And I am so proud of you. So proud of you. You are so fucking strong. You don't even know. Well, you do know. You do know. Yes. Actually, your house number has a lot to do. You're available again. You know about the what? Yes. Well, Deborah and I have been through it. And we've come up head to head too because we're both kind of stubborn. But that girl is my ride or die. She is just my ride or die. Love you too. Always will, always have. So, there's times when you can even disagree with somebody or maybe, we don't know everything. We don't. We're not supposed to. But if we allow ourselves to flow and become what we're supposed to become, it's either a lesson or a blessing, and even the lessons become a blessing in the end. But there's certain people in your life that you will never forget. And this girl right here, Deborah Owens, is one of them. She and I have been through a lot together. We've seen a lot together. Yes, exactly. Different places on the elephant. I love the way you put that. Gosh, how many years we've been through it. She's seen all the things that Facebook has hidden. We've had so many talks. We've been there for each other, and we've even had our disagreements, but, here we are. Love is love. And when it is real, it doesn't go away. It's just the way it is. And yeah, Tesla was amazing. Yep. And he had the idea of energy being free, and he created a tower to make that happen. I think it's been a little more longer than that. I'm not sure exactly. God is everything. Everything. Not just the ocean. But that's a good point, Roar Angel. Or what we consider God. It's um, even what we consider evil is at work for a purpose. And in the end, it's all a divine purpose. Hi, Miss Dynamite. There's my girl. How's the weather over there, sweetheart? We are manifesting Miss Dynamite coming from the UK to the US. So, Roar Angel, get busy on that one with your 369 technique. I need to actually relook that back up because I've been so busy trying to fend off the barracudas that are trying to stop me. Um, that I really need to retouch up on that. Miss Dynamite is also my girl. She's one of my newer, should I say, ride or die people. But God is the ocean, the planets, the moon, the sun, the stars, every breath we take. It's in everything. And it's just a consciousness. And here's the thing, it's eternal consciousness. The eternal consciousness are the consciousness of the dark and the consciousness of the light, because it takes both of them for creation. Now, the thing about God in his oneness is he doesn't judge. He knows both are needed, you know? I say he, but, you know, it's a consciousness. It's not a he or a she. It's a knowledge, it's an understanding. And it doesn't judge either one. It just shows up to create. That's God, the creation vibration. I don't really define it because when we define it to our own understanding, I think we limit its ability to work within us. Aw, it was lovely talking to you yesterday, girl. It was absolutely wonderful. I missed you guys so much. You don't even know. When I was in that hellhole for 30 days with no ability to have a signal for a phone or no freaking Wi-Fi. Everybody was like, when I did have it, or when I, caught a little bit of Wi-Fi here or there, everybody was like, why are you mad at me? Why haven't you talked to me? Don't you love me? It's like, why are you ignoring me? Are you ignoring me because I couldn't help? And it's like, no, 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 none of that. And I'm not ignoring you. I would never do that. If I love you, I love you. It's just the way it is. If you piss me off or you're hurting people or you're being one of those things like liars, cheaters, stealer, destruction of the innocent, that's when I quit talking to you. But that cutoff game is real. That cutoff game is real. Yes, you're in the UK too, so is Miss Dynamite. Yep, yep. But yeah, I had a need to come on and talk about consciousness and what we're doing with it and how we are all connected and we are all responsible for everything that's going on. And Roar Angel, man, you and I should thank you. I'm feeling a lot better, I really am. And of course Preston has helped a lot. He's a sweetheart. He's helping me kind of restore some of my faith in the goodness of humanity. But we all sometimes have to question our motives, I think. Because it isn't sometimes as much what we do, but why we're doing it. Are we feeding our eternal ego? Or are we feeding our, I want to be happy right now type thing? And we're all going through that struggle, you know? Okay, so yes, you guys are awesome. I love my UK people just as much as I love my Americans because we're all basically the same soul. And I am so proud of you guys overcoming the um I don't know what party you called it. I've missed you all. You don't even know. And right now, I have uh things going on in life that I also take my attention. So I haven't been doing my Saturday live readings like I should, and then my Wednesday live readings as I should, but I'm gonna try and get back to it. But there's so many people out there doing readings. It's like I just miss sitting and talking to people and with people instead of at them. I love that part, that interaction. And that's kind of missing in the readings. Besides, y'all already know what I'm going to tell you. Something inside of you already knows what you deserve and what's coming at you. All right, chat box. Chat box is sucking again. Hang on a minute, let me refresh. But you guys are so amazing. And I love you all. I probably would have been crazy without all of you. As a matter of fact, I was kind of stuck in something that was very crazy and very, seriously, um, there for a month. That was like, wasn't even funny. Was not even funny. I haven't yet, because we're all scraping by right here, right now. And what I thought I had, I kind of had to use for food, even though I had the other two. So we are working on it, B. We are. I'm going to see if I can send it out today. We'll see. We'll see what Preston says when he gets here. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off of here because I've been talking now for an hour and a half, and I kind of like to keep these short because more people are um coming into the shorter sessions. Yeah, being free from drama. But see, a lot of people say, "Oh, I hate drama," and then they create it, and they don't even realize how they're creating it by their choices. And we talked about that with the self-love versus selfish a little earlier. And that came from my spiritual advisor, the captain. I share his stuff on Facebook. He's the old guy, the old the old bald guy that I listen to. That's a reader. He's amazing. And Astrea is another divine reader, and she definitely tells my story about what's been going on for the last 4 years. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, I love you. You remember to like, share, and subscribe. It is so important for the algorithms. If you like what's going on here, you like the interaction, share it. Plus, it overrides the AI algorithms that's keeping some people shadow banned. Like on Facebook, I'm so shadow banned. I love you, Deborah. Always have and I always will, my girl. Man, we fought some battles together. She's just amazing. She's amazing. She's strong. There's nothing I wouldn't do for her. But I love you all. So, and yeah, stop putting the masks on. That's so important. We have to do what we're called to do in the moment. You too are our angel. B, call me. You got my number.